of us that are sitting below zero, and it's been very gusty today, which means blowing and drifting snow. That's still something that we're keeping a close eye on. So there's been a little bit of lake effect taking place today, mainly across northwest Indiana. It's been relatively light, nothing too heavy, but we still have that winter weather advisory that's remaining in effect in LaPorte County until 6 p.m. and then that's going to expire. But tonight it's still all about the cold. So we have low temperatures tonight that are going to be dropping down to about zero for most of us. Wind chills 5 to 15 below. And your temperatures right now, we're sitting in the teens above zero, which is warmer than what we've been able to say for quite some time. But once you factor in the winds, this is what it's feeling like. I do have good news, though. Next week is trending quite a bit warmer. We actually have 30s that are going to be possible next week. I'll have your full forecast coming up.
All right, we'll see you then, Emily. We have an update now on a wrongful conviction case in Cook County. Antonio Porter spent decades in prison for something he says he did not do.
And today a judge moved him closer to getting out. Leslie Moreno is live with the latest on what happened today. Leslie?
Hey guys, good evening. Yeah, this is Antonio Porter's first real chance at freedom in years. He is set to walk out of the Cook County jail here behind me at some point today. He has been locked up for 23 years now, serving a 71-year sentence. 50-year-old Antonio Porter there on your screen was convicted in 2003 for a 2002 murder in which Lamont Harrison was shot during a dice game. Police and prosecutors initially argued Porter was the gunman, and a jury found him guilty at trial. Recently, a Cook County judge vacated Porter's conviction and ordered a new trial over concerns about the credibility of key police testimony in his original case. At a bond hearing on Monday afternoon, the judge ruled Porter to be released on electronic monitoring while he awaits a new trial. Advocates who have been working with Porter and his family this whole time say he is excited to be walking out today.
Ecstatic, and he's just waiting. Right now, we waiting for some paperwork to be corrected. He was supposed to be released last night, but he's still in good spirit because the judge made a ruling already. He's coming home on pre-trial conditions, so that's for sure. We know that for sure. We just got to wait for the process with the county doing the necessary paperwork, with the judge signing off on the correct paperwork, and we hoping that today, you know, he'll be walking out of here. We just don't have a approximate time yet.
And he's going to be staying with his mom?
He's going to be staying with a family member, not with his mom, with his close cousin. Everything is already ready. She has a big house. He has a job lined up.
The Cook County State's Attorney is still reviewing all the evidence on this case. Again, Porter is still locked up here at the Cook County Jail, awaiting everything to be finalized. We're also told his family is standing nearby as well, waiting for him to walk out. For now, reporting live here outside Cook County Jail, Leslie Moreno, Fox, Chicago.
Thank you, Leslie. We are following breaking news out of Arizona. At least one person is in critical condition following a shooting involving a Border Patrol agent. The shooting happened in a community just 10 miles from the U.S.-Mexico border.
Also, a federal judge just issued a temporary order prohibiting the removal of a 5-year-old boy and his father. The two were detained in Minnesota by ICE and are currently at a family detention center in San Antonio, Texas.
Border czar Tom Homan is now in Minnesota, where he's taken the lead of the Trump administration's immigration enforcement operation, and he's already meeting with leaders in the state.
Minnesota Governor Tim Walz, also the mayor of Minneapolis, and President Donald Trump all agree it's time for more cooperation. Molly Arroy is live in Minneapolis with the latest.
Yes, good afternoon. Homan is here, and he recently spoke with the Minneapolis mayor and police chief. Mayor Fry said that it was a productive conversation, but he stressed that the city would not help with immigration enforcement. On X, he wrote in part, "I also made it clear that Minneapolis does not and will not enforce federal immigration laws, and that we will remain focused on keeping our neighbors and streets safe. City leaders will continue to stay in the conversation with Mr. Homan and his team." Now, these conversations mark a major tone shift between these leaders after another deadly shooting involving federal agents in Minneapolis over the weekend. A few weeks ago, an ICE officer shot and killed 37-year-old Renee Good. And then Saturday, it was the killing of 37-year-old Alex Preddy. Holman spoke with Governor Walz just after arriving in Minnesota. The governor's office said in a statement, Governor Walz met with Tom Homan this morning and reiterated Minnesota's priorities: impartial investigations into the Minneapolis shootings involving federal agents, a swift, significant reduction in the number of federal forces in Minnesota, and an end to the campaign of retribution against Minnesota. Preddy was legally carrying a firearm during Saturday's incident, but bystander video shows that he doesn't appear to be holding it when Border Patrol opened fire. Administration officials initially described Preddy as a domestic terrorist and a would-be assassin. Now, President Trump is denying he's heard those claims, but today he said he didn't think that Preddy should have been carrying a gun. But he also called it an unfortunate incident and said he wants a, quote, honorable and honest investigation. People across the country, including a growing number of Republican lawmakers, are also demanding to know what happened. Today, DHS spokesperson Tricia McLaughlin confirmed there is body camera footage from Saturday's shooting.
Not seeing the body cam footage myself, I know that there's at least 4 officers who were on the ground during that incident where they were wearing body cams. So I imagine that will be released at some point, but I don't have more information on it.
And there are other legal matters involving federal conduct in Minnesota. Just recently, a federal judge is ordering the head of ICE to appear in court on Friday, saying the Trump administration is not complying with orders to hold hearings on detained immigrants. In Minneapolis, Amalia Roy, Fox Chicago.
Congress just voted to keep funding the Department of Homeland Security. Not even a week later, Chicago Congresswoman Ellie Ramirez drops a bill that would eliminate DHS. It also defunds ICE and shuts down detention centers. She calls it the Melt ICE Act. Ramirez says it would end what she describes as an unrestrained crusade of cruelty against our migrant neighbors in the places they call home. She points to recent immigration enforcement actions in Chicago and Minneapolis as reasons to cut funding right now.
The point is this: our small businesses are falling apart in this precise moment. Our children don't even want to give you their name because they're afraid that if you know their name, you will go after them and their families.
If this passes, the Melt ICE Act would move billions in taxpayer dollars into wraparound services. That includes housing, health care, and community services.
Chicago city leaders are looking to make some tweaks to the city's welcoming ordinance in the wake of this weekend's tragedy in Minneapolis.
Some alders say they want more accountability for those that break city laws. Local reporter Paris Schutz is here with the latest. Paris.
Yeah, Terrence and Celia, this comes down to the sanctuary ordinance, or the welcoming city ordinance in Chicago that's been on the books since the 1980s. Now, alders today debated a measure that would give COPA, the Civilian Office of Police Accountability, the power to investigate police or city officials that break the welcoming ordinance, more commonly known as sanctuary city policy. Under this tweak, COPA would be empowered to investigate if a police officer cooperates on immigration enforcement against the stated law. Now, alders say the proposal is urgent because of what happened in Minneapolis.
Every single day we work to uphold the values of a welcoming city. This amendment to the COPA ordinance is doing just that. It's making sure that we have the infrastructure and the systems to hold people accountable.
If we don't make these changes now, I fear for what it will look like between now and March when ICE does come back.
More about the welcoming ordinance says local police cannot assist in the enforcement of federal immigration law unless the federal agents present a judicial warrant to go after someone. Mayor Johnson says this tweak might just be the beginning. He says he is studying potential executive orders that would give the city power to prosecute federal immigration agents who break the law.
My team is working overtime to locate measures that I can use through my executive authority to not just hold people accountable, but to ensure that there's a mechanism in which that can take place. So we'll continue to explore all options and take a deep look into what we can do to not just investigate, but to prosecute.
The measure advanced out of committee today. Notably, I tried reaching out to a handful of alders who have been in favor of modifying the Welcoming City Ordinance the other direction to give police more ability to go after undocumented criminals. They did not have comment today on this proposal. They didn't want anything to do with it. A sign that what happened in Minneapolis this weekend has turned the notion of this deportation crackdown politically toxic right now in this environment. Sylvia?
All right, thanks for that, Paris. A coalition of public school advocates is urging Governor Pritzker to reject a new federal school voucher program. Today, more than 40 organizations delivered a letter calling on the governor to opt Illinois out of the program that's set to start in 2027. The group says vouchers would redirect public tax dollars to private schools with less oversight and fewer civil rights protections.
Public tax dollars should be used to serve all students while also following state and federal civil rights laws. Only public schools do that. As a governor who has promised to protect transgender Illinoisans and fight for disability rights in the midst of Donald Trump's war on our communities, opting into this program would be a direct betrayal of those commitments.
Organizers say protecting public schools is essential, especially as most Illinois students attend public classrooms.
So is social media actually addictive? And if it is, are the big tech companies the ones who made it that way?
Jury selection has started in a case that could change the way social media platforms can operate when it comes to children.
Also know the size Metro is arming you with tools to take on human trafficking.
Plus, just 5 years after launching Amazon Fresh grocery stores, the online retail giant is switching gears.
Fox 32 News is brought.
A year ago this week, an Army helicopter crashed into an American Airlines plane. It happened January 29th near Reagan National Airport outside D.C. The plane was coming into land. 67 people died, everyone on both aircraft. It was the deadliest crash in the U.S. in over 20 years. Well, today, the National Transportation Safety Board finally gave families answers about what happened. The NTSB chairwoman called it deep underlying systemic failures, system flaws aligned to create the conditions that led to this devastating tragedy.
From design of our airspace around DCA to the limitations of see and avoid, which we've been warning about for over 5 decades, to failures of entire organizations to evaluate and act on readily available data, heed repeated recommendations, and foster robust safety cultures, to name a few.
Several things went wrong. The helicopter was 78 feet too high with faulty altimeters. The pilots had restricted views, night vision goggles, cockpit blind spots, and lighting along the Potomac made it hard to see. Air traffic control warned the helicopter, but not the plane. The controller was handling 6 planes and 5 helicopters. The FAA has made changes. Jets and helicopters can share airspace around the Capitol now. But the NTSB also wants advanced locator systems on all aircraft. But Congress, the White House, and the Pentagon decide if that happens. And do you remember the plane crash at DuPage Airport last month? 2 people died. The NTSB just put out the preliminary report. The plane's engines and controls are working fine. This was December 17th in West Chicago. Twin engine. A Piper went down right after takeoff. Surveillance video caught it. The plane got up about 75 feet, stayed nose high, then the right wing dropped 90 degrees and it came down nose first. Investigators say there were no issues with the flight controls or engines. The full investigation takes 1 to 2 years, though.
The death toll for this weekend's snowstorm is rising. At least 35 deaths reported across the country. The powerful winter storm dumped heavy snow, sleet, and ice across much of the U.S. Tonight, more than 500,000 homes and businesses, particularly in the South, remain without power. Let's take a live look outside as the sun is getting ready to set, looking beautiful, and another cold one. And Emily, I like the sounds that as the days progress, maybe we might actually see a light at the end of the tunnel there when it comes to this cold, huh?
That's right, but we still have to wait until next week. So we still have this whole week to get through where it's going to be very cold with overnight low temperatures very close to 0, wind chill temperatures dropping below 0, and your daytime highs only in the teens. That's where we sit right now. It is 13 degrees at O'Hare. Same thing in Aurora. It's 14 at the Chicago lakefront, 16 degrees in Gary, 12 in Waukegan. We're at 15 in Rensselaer, 13 in Valparaiso. Here's where we're headed over the next few hours. So the teens are going to hold for at least another 2 or 3 hours for us. After that, we are back down into the single digits. Notice by about 9 p.m., a lot of us are going to be right around 5 or 6 degrees. We'll be under mostly clear skies, and then our skies are going to become partly cloudy going into early tomorrow morning. Temperatures by daybreak should be hovering a few degrees above 0. But your wind chill temperatures are still going to be about 5 to 15 degrees below 0 when we wake up tomorrow morning. And then similar to today, I think during the afternoon, things look pretty good. We're going to be partly cloudy, still cold, but temps will once again be in the mid-teens. And then we'll do that again on Thursday as well. After that, all attention is going to be turning over to the chance for lake effect, developing Thursday night into Friday, possibly lasting into Saturday as well. For tonight, 2 degrees for the overnight low in Chicago. We're going to have a lot of suburbs that actually drop down a couple of degrees below 0 again. A lot of us are looking at wind chills 5 to 15 degrees below 0. Your 5-day forecast tomorrow, 16, partly cloudy conditions on Wednesday. Thursday, we have that chance of lake effect in the evening and overnight. Better chance is going to be here on Friday and Saturday. At this point, it looks like on Thursday, we're going to see that lake effect firing up in the evening and then targeting northeast Illinois, possibly the Chicago area again on Friday. Back to you.
Google just agreed to pay $68 million. They're settling a lawsuit that claims their voice assistant was listening in on people, ear hustling. Google says they didn't do anything wrong and settled to avoid a long court battle. And there's a big trial happening in California right now. Meta and Google are being sued.
Scrolling social media apps such as Instagram and TikTok for hours, pretty routine for many U.S. teenagers. But what's behind the seeming addiction to these platforms? According to a bombshell lawsuit, it's the social media companies that are actually to blame for intentionally designing apps to hook young users. Meta CEO Mark Zuckerberg and the head of Instagram, Adam Mosseri, Grocery are expected to testify. Snapchat and TikTok were initially named in the lawsuit, but have since settled. Joining us now is attorney Dahlia Saper, who specializes in social media and entertainment law.
Thanks for being with us. This is the first of several lawsuits. This one involves a 19-year-old who claims she became addicted and it caused her depression and suicidal thoughts, something we hear from a lot of people. Is there a solid case here?
First of all, thank you so much for having me. This is certainly an interesting case. It's a landmark case because it's the first time really that we're seeing the social media giants on trial for the product, the way they operate versus the content that they disseminate on their platforms. In the past, they've been fairly successful at avoiding liability for the content that is hosted on their platform by invoking Section 230 of the Communications Decency Act, which says, hey, you don't sue a telephone company if someone calls you and says some horrible things using the phone. We're just like that. We're a billboard. We're a phone. You can't be mad at us if the content you're being served up is traumatizing to you in any sort of way. And in the past, that used to work. But the way this case has been fashioned is, no, we're not suing for the content. We're suing you because of the way you've designed these platforms to serve up the content that is causing us harm.
Okay, so you said, and a lot of people are saying this is a landmark case. That's why a lot of people are comparing this to the big tobacco trials that occurred in the 90s, where those companies were forced to pay billions of dollars. So do these platforms have a lot to lose, and could it change how they operate in the future?
Absolutely. So it's big industry. It's relatively unregulated in the sense that because of Section 230 and because of First Amendment protections, and because, again, you don't sue the platform, you sue the bad guy using the platform. Social media companies have been able to avoid changing or affirmatively having to do anything beyond what the marketplace demands. So to date, their arguments are, we're already putting in safeguards. There are already lots of things we're doing to make this a safe place. There's teen accounts. And by the way, you can't blame us. It's really a function of maybe something else that's going on in the life of these teenagers that's causing them depression. You've failed to prove that there's a direct connection between the social media usage and your, alleged harm. Moreover, there is no affirmative duty here to do anything beyond being a for-profit company, and you don't have to use social media. Hey, parents, if you're concerned about your child's usage, then don't give them access to the social media platform. That's what's being weighed here. What is the degree to which they should be held accountable for the way they do business?
Yeah, thing is, Snapchat settled last week, and then hours before, the jury was selected, or that was beginning today, the selection process. TikTok settled too. So does that alone say a lot? Do you think that could look bad for the other platforms that are still a part of this lawsuit?
Well, jury trials are inherently unpredictable. You don't know what will resonate. You could have 3 jury trials, the exact same case presented, 3 different outcomes. And so when you do settle, it's to get some sort of certainty versus deal with the uncertainty. After this case is resolved, there's thousands more like it that will depend on kind of the precedent that the ruling in this case might set. So there's very high stakes, and there's lots of potential aggrieved victims, and the outcome will have a big bottom line impact for the social media giants.
Dahlia Saper, thank you so much for joining us. This trial is expected to take from like 6 to 8 weeks. It's going to be interesting to watch and see, so maybe you can come back and help us break it all down. We appreciate your time.
Would love to. Thank you very much.
Thank you. It is being called an affordability crisis. Electricity bills are skyrocketing. What's being done today to bring families relief?
The United Center is rolling out new infused drink options. We've got the buzz next.
And we've all heard of drug-sniffing dogs, but now there are electronic sniffing dogs, and they're a new part of the fight against child pornography.
There aren't many Holocaust survivors left, so when one of them opens up for the first time, it truly matters. Her name is Alana Salam. She's 81, one of the youngest Holocaust survivors still alive. She picked today to tell her story because it's International Holocaust Remembrance Day. The reason she survived is pretty incredible. Her mother was pregnant with her when she was in a concentration camp, and she hid the pregnancy the whole time. Alana was born March 20th, 1945. Just 29 days after that, the British showed up and liberated the camp. One archivist says it's amazing she survived the horrific conditions.
There were mounds of corpses. There were dozens of thousands of people who were ill, almost without food at that time, who were seated not only inside the building but also outside the buildings. So I personally cannot imagine how the baby could be born there.
Right now, there are about 196,000 Holocaust survivors left in the world. Half of them live in Israel, including Alana.
January marks National Human Trafficking Month, so Metra is taking steps to inform commuters about the signs to look out for. Metra employees are passing out magnets listing some of those signs. They're hoping that if riders recognize what's happening, it could be the first step to getting a victim away from a trafficker. This morning, we spoke to the CEO of Metra about what people should look for.
Look for individuals that are maybe look like they're uncomfortable with the people they're with. They won't make eye contact, say with the conductor, heads down. It's not normal for adolescents to not be on their phone. That's another sign. They might be out of seasonal clothing. They might be wearing shorts, and it's, I don't know, January 30th, and it seems very out of place.
So if you spot anything suspicious on a Metra train, you are encouraged to tell the conductor or Metra police.
Insurance stocks took a hit today. The Wall Street Journal reported the Trump administration wants to keep Medicare payments to insurers pretty much flat next year. Wall Street was expecting way more than that. The Dow dropped too. The Fed started its first meeting of the year today, and most people think they will keep interest rates where they are. They cut them 3 meetings in a row before this.
Amazon announces a major decision to close all of its Amazon Fresh stores and Amazon Go locations.
They sure do. They're taking a bunch of them and turning them into Whole Foods instead. Casey Cronus is out in Oak Lawn, I believe, talking to people about it. Hey, Casey.
Hey, Terrence and Sylvia, and customers here are stunned. Many of them are learning the hard way. They've been showing up to shop and return Amazon purchases all day, only to discover the store is closed. Now, Amazon says its last day of operations at all of its locations is this Sunday, February 1st. But today, customers in Oak Lawn were met by locked doors and a sign that reads, "We are closed for the remainder of the day. Come back tomorrow." It's unclear if the doors will really reopen in the morning, as shoppers tell us the North Riverside and Schaumburg locations have the same message posted. In Illinois, Amazon operates 10 Fresh locations, while there are just a handful of Go locations downtown. Amazon says some, not all, of these stores will become Whole Foods markets, all while the company shifts its focus to same-day grocery delivery. For shoppers, it's one less option when it comes to low prices at checkout.
I was there like maybe about a month ago, and I saw like a lot of soups and everything were like 50 cents, and I go, something's going on. So, and I stocked up, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, like Minute Maid juice was 88 cents. So that's kind of weird for groceries.
We get good prices on beef and some of the staples are everyday things that we can use. So this is kind of disappointing that it's going to go away.
Amazon says it is working to place its employees at other roles within the company. Meantime, Amazon is turning to Orland Park, where it is exploring opening a brand new supercenter concept that will sell groceries and other merchandise. That should be opening in the coming years. Reporting live in Oak Lawn, Casey Cronus, Fox Chicago.
The United Center is going to be the first big arena in the country to sell THC drinks. They're starting at concerts and other shows, not sporting events, not kid stuff. Two brands are coming in, Señorita and Rhythm, which is local. It's based in Rolling Meadows. Both use THC from hemp. Each can has 5 milligrams. That's about like having a glass of wine. You have to be 21 to buy one. Now, mind you, a federal ban is coming. Trump signed a law in November banning intoxicating hemp products starting this November. Chicago's doing its own thing. City Council voted to ban most intoxicating hemp products, but drinks got to pass. The United Center can still sell them when that ban kicks in April 1st. We talked to someone from Rhythm on Chicago Live.
We've had the business here in Chicago for 10 years. The United Center is the premier venue, and being able to expose consumers to our brands, to our lifestyle brands that are safe, highly functional, great products is super exciting. And what we're seeing is consumers are leaning away from alcohol, choosing less alcohol, and looking for alternatives. And so being able to offer this at concerts and at different kinds of live events and sports, it's a great thing for consumers, and it's an alternative.
Mayor Brandon Johnson says he has concerns about that ban. He has until February 13th to decide if he'll veto it. Drinks are exempt either way, though, and they start selling February 4th at the United Center when Boyz II Men New Edition and Tony Braxton perform. They're doing a show together. Who do you think I am? Don't you know? Sorry.
I'll let you finish.
No, I'm done.
Coming up after the break, a major vote that could impact your utility bills. NIPSCO customers have been feeling the heat of high bills. Could relief be on the way?
And y'all said I look fake on TikTok. Apparently spotting AI isn't easy as you think. We'll talk about what you need to watch for next.
It's starting the day with hope. Knowing you're in the right place. Having access to advanced treatments and the most experienced cancer experts. When you're facing cancer, it's not just one thing that makes the difference. It's everything. The big, the small, the unexpected that helps you keep moving forward. Advocate Healthcare. Cancer care that makes the difference.
Okay, we're back with a developing story this afternoon. Concerns in Bolingbrook about the police department's involvement in an ICE arrest.
Yeah, now the mayor is trying to clear things up in a Facebook post. She gave a timeline of what happened this morning, saying ICE was conducting its own operations when it started questioning a man in a pickup truck. The feds say the man refused their orders, rammed one of their vehicles, and fled. The man then went to the police department apparently to report damage to his vehicle, but was detained by federal agents in the lobby before officers could speak with him. The mayor says the village was not aware of any immigration enforcement operations, and police did file a criminal damage report for the alleged ramming incident.
All right, let's head back outside, get you another view of our beautiful city. Even with all the snow still on the ground. Yes, it's cold, but it's winter. Get over it.
Yeah, we can handle it, right?
Yeah.
You know, it's not as bad as what it was last week, and I think we can just be grateful for that, because last week, of course, we were dealing with wind chill temperatures as cold as 30 to 35 below. Today, it's felt like, you know, just a couple of degrees below zero out there this afternoon. So we're doing all right. Here's a look at the weather alerts. We still have that winter weather advisory for LaPorte County that's staying in effect until 6 p.m. After that, we should be in the clear. But we're still dealing with, at times, blowing snow, especially in the wide open areas that we picked up all the snow a couple days ago. We're still seeing wind gusts occasionally as high as about 25 miles per hour. Tonight, 2 degrees for the overnight low. Many suburbs are going to drop a few degrees below zero. Your 3-day forecast tomorrow, mainly dry skies, 16 degrees for your high, 14 on Thursday. Thursday night into Friday, lake effect. That's going to be firing back up and could be targeting Northeast Illinois again on Friday. Back to you.
Well, less than an hour ago, Indiana lawmakers approved a utility bill that's supposed to give you relief.
Yeah, a lot of you in Northwest Indiana have been telling us that your NIPSCO bills were just too high.
Rep. Gansey's been listening to the whole thing. What were they saying today?
Well, certainly it's not going to be the progress that a lot of our viewers in Northwest Indiana want to feel. But, you know, several House Democrats tried amending the bill, which included eliminating the sales tax temporarily and then permanently on your public utility bills. But those amendments failed along party lines. So we're talking about House Bill 1002, which is about giving Indiana residents a levelized billing plan, giving you an opportunity to opt out of a plan at any time without a penalty, and bans utility companies from promoting what's called a budget billing plan unless it provides specific forms of relief. Now, some Democrats argue this is just a good start, but it doesn't give any financial relief right now. So we heard from State Representative Mike Andrade from Munster, who was really fired up at times during the debate, even reading letters from his constituents about how they can't afford to pay their NIPSCO bills. And we've also heard from NIPSCO customers who have been begging state lawmakers for some help.
I have heard loud and clear from my constituents who a lot of them have gone through some emergencies and they are falling behind on their utility bills. They're not able to come to the a consensus with the utility company.
But eliminating the sales tax on utility bills is a major structural revenue change. And in a non-budget year, we don't have the complete fiscal modeling, especially for the impacts to other units of government.
So all those amendments failed, but this bill passed just as it was and now moves on to the Senate. But it's also coming as hundreds of NIPSCO customers are getting ready to protest outside of NIPSCO offices in both Hammond and Maryville, Indiana. That's going to be happening next week. And there's also a public utility hearing next Wednesday in Indianapolis about billing practices from NIPSCO. Continue to watch this space. Sylvia.
All right, thanks, Brad. He is only 4 years old, but is already fighting crime.
Meet the Lab, changing how the Cook County Sheriff's Office tracks down hidden evidence.
Now, what if the difference between a case solved and a child never found was something no bigger than a fingernail? Tonight, we show you how a specially trained canine is uncovering hidden digital evidence and also solving crimes.
Save big money on everything you need.
4 years ago, Cook County did something it's never done before. They brought in a dog to help fight child exploitation.
So we went to check in on Boone. He's the county's first dog trained to sniff out electronics. We wanted to see how his work has changed, what he's finding these days, and why the investigators say they need him more than ever.
Pound it. That's my boy. Let's go to work. Come, seek. Seek.
The smallest pieces of evidence can hold the darkest crimes.
Boom. Show me.
A micro SD card about the size of a fingernail.
Boom. Show me. Good job.
A hidden camera disguised as a water bottle.
Looks like a normal water bottle. It's got water in there and just nothing out of the ordinary with it. But when you go ahead and you open this water bottle up, you can see this is actually a hidden camera.
Yes. Show me. Good job.
A phone shoved in a locker where no one would ever think to look. Or even a GoPro.
So he's hitting on the GoPro. Yes, come.
Investigators say when it comes to child exploitation, this is how predators hide their digital trail. And this,
good job, buddy, you found it.
Is who they call in to find it. 4-year-old Boone, a Labrador retriever, but he's not just any canine. He's certified to sniff out electronics.
Any device that holds memory or data, like a GoPro, cell phone, those are the devices Boone can seek out.
The list doesn't stop there. iPads, tablets, thumb drives, hidden cameras, anything that holds memories. Small enough to disappear into clutter, but investigators say large enough to store images and videos that can change a child's life forever. Do you feel like it would be safe to say that by having Boone be a part of the Cook County Sheriff's that he's literally saving lives?
Oh, definitely.
Sergeant Daniel Codd is Boone's handler. He says suspects are intentional about where they hide what they don't want police to find. And sometimes even trained investigators miss it.
They missed that SD card on the initial search. We brought Boone in, he went and searched the area, and he starts hitting all the way underneath this the table where the TV stands at. And sure enough, I'm like, hey guys, let's just move that. There's a little SD card running underneath it. Good job, buddy.
We watched Boone work. Every single item stashed, he uncovered. So we decided to put his nose to the test.
So Boone's positivity rate, from what we're hearing, is pretty close to 100% at this point. So we decided that we're going to put him to the test. We have this micro SD card. We're going to drop it in the top of our microphone, put it on top. Yeah, we'll do it like that.
Make it easier.
Yep. And now it's Boone's job to sniff it out. Let's see what happens here.
Boom, pound it. Let's go to work. Seek.
Within seconds, Boone drops low, locks in, and guides his handler straight to it.
Boom.
On the job with the Cook County Sheriff's Department since November 2022, Boone has been called to work all across the state because he's the first ever electronics detection canine in Cook County.
Our bread and butter is going to be the child exploitation cases or child sexual abuse material cases.
These cases don't always involve physical contact, but investigators say the harm is real and lasting.
They could be reaching out to these kids, grooming these children from afar. Over the internet, Boone found devices where there was evidence of actual children that we were able to identify and get them interviewed and help that they need for them. And then our offenders were charged with that.
When Boone isn't building a case, he's bonding with those that do.
He gives everybody a good outlet, right? A good outlet to just de-stress a little bit.
Since 2022, the Sheriff's Office says Boone has assisted in more than 140 searches. 120 of those led to criminal charges.
Boone's been out on financial crime cases, homicides, missing persons, burglaries.
And he has to be in shape to get it all done.
Boone has never eaten out of a bowl. Boone has always eaten out of my hand.
Boone down. Stand.
Because Boone is a food reward dog, Boone is fed his food when he seeks out the devices.
In a digital world where predators hide behind screens and stash evidence in places no one would ever think to search, Boone doesn't miss.
Look at that, you found it. You got the little SD card, you got it. Good job, buddy.
He finds what they tried to bury. He uncovers what they hoped would stay hidden.
Good boys.
And investigators say sometimes that discovery is the first step toward saving a child who never had a chance to speak for themselves. Now, Boone was paid for by a nonprofit. When his workday ends, Boone goes home with his handler to play with kids and another dog. But even off duty, he stays disciplined. That means absolutely no table scraps. His reward comes on the job, fed after every single successful detection. The Cook County Sheriff's Office says Boone's food and vet care cost about $3,600 every single year. And they say that is a really small price to help protect children. Tia Ewing, Fox Chicago.
Wow, that's incredible. That's amazing to see they can sniff the littlest things out. That's wild. Thanks, Tia. Well, AI videos, as we know, are everywhere and getting so good that some of you actually thought my co-anchor was fake.
Lord help us. So up next, we'll walk you through 4 ways to spot the fakes, what to look for in the hands, the eyes, and the background.
Are both of those real? We'll find out. But first, here's a look at your trip home. Not too bad.
Well, AI videos are everywhere nowadays, and they're getting harder to spot, apparently.
Apparently so.
Yeah, the station posted this TikTok of me talking about this brutal cold snap we've been dealing with. As always, you can depend on the comment section for a good laugh or get easily offended. Like some of y'all saying I look like AI. Pause. It's called a skincare routine, friends. But we thought this would be a good opportunity to walk you through 4 things to look for when you're trying to figure out if something is real or not. First, watch the hands. AI messes up fingers. There's extra digits, weird bends, fingers that disappear. Second, check the eyes and the mouth. Do the lips sync up? Does the blink look natural? I'm getting more offended. Third, look at the background. AI backgrounds can look warped or blurry in strange spots. Fourth, trust your gut. If it looks too perfect or feels robotic, it probably is, which I am not. A robot can't work like that, okay?
That is so funny. People actually thought you were AI.
Yes, I'm like, you thought a robot's been sitting next to Sylvia Perez for the past 6 years here at Fox 32 Chicago?
Oh my gosh.
Parents, you're too perfect.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Like I said,
yeah. No, what were some of the comments?
Moisturize, cleanse your skin, get some serums.
It said something
and
like,
maybe you too could be like this. I'm kidding.
It said something like, look at that, look at them using AI.
Yeah, like we wouldn't know. And oh, this dude's fake. This is not real. This is AI. Like, I appreciate the detectors being out because there are a lot of videos out there that do get people and catch them off guard. But come on, we wouldn't do that.
No, we would never do that.
Right.
But I will say AI is getting so scarily close, isn't it?
Yeah, it's to the point now that before I reshare anything on like an Instagram story or whatever, I run to my husband and I'm like, is this real?
Yeah, right.
Because he just has an eye to pick it out, whereas I'm still like, I'm starting to get to the point where I get confused sometimes. So I don't want to share anything that's not real.
Using the Donometer.
The Donometer. It's usually pretty accurate. So I will say, so far I haven't gotten burned on Instagram stories. Oh, man.
I know some people wish these temperatures on your map.
Yeah, I'm ready to get burned a little bit by some hot temps here anytime soon.
Raise it up.
Look at this.
That's
gorgeous shot.
Pretty.
Yes. We have...
is that the United Center there?
It is. I think so, yeah.
Where they're about to be selling THC drinks.
Go.
Hey, talk about getting high up there.
We were talking about getting hot, Terrence.
Well, high temperatures.
That's true. That's true. All right, everybody. It's been nice and sunny out there today, but temperatures... they still really struggled. We ended up only topping out in the mid-teens, and now we're already starting to see those temperatures dropping a little bit. We're down to 12 degrees currently at O'Hare, 14 at the Chicago Lakefront, 12 in Woodstock. It's only 10 in DeKalb, 13 in Aurora, same thing in Valparaiso. It's 12 in Gary. We're at 13 degrees now in Rensselaer, same thing in Chicago Heights. Once you factor in gusty winds, this is what it feels like. So we still have wind chill temperatures for a lot of us that are below 0 degrees. It feels like 3 below at O'Hare, same thing in Gary, 1 below in Merrillville. Feels like 1 at the Chicago Lakefront, 1 below at Midway, and 4 degrees below 0 is what it's feeling like now in DeKalb. Here's where we're headed. So the next couple of days around here, temperatures are going to be in the teens, so staying way below average. And typically for this time of the year, your average is right around 31. We're still not coming close to that even after we start to see a warming trend. Going into this upcoming weekend, we're in the low 20s on Saturday, Sunday, mid-20s. But take a look at this. So this is your temperature outlook from the 2nd through the 6th, so the first week of February, and we're going to start to see at least a little bit of a pattern change here. So there are some signs that this deep freeze is going to give us a little bit of a break here, and we'll have more near normal, possibly even slightly above average temperatures going to be possible by the end of next week. Satellite and radar, we've had some lake effect taking place across portions of LaPorte County today, but for the most part, things are beginning to wind down. We still have that winter weather advisory for LaPorte County. That's going to expire at 6 p.m. Tonight, we're looking at mostly clear skies. Temperatures once again going down to right around 0. Wind chills tonight going to be 5 to 15 degrees below 0. So another very cold start to your day tomorrow. And then through the day on Wednesday, I think we're going to have quite a bit of sunshine. Unfortunately, we're not seeing much of a warm up again. We're only going to be in the mid-teens for your highs Wednesday afternoon. And then going into Thursday, this is going to be the day that we have to start watching. There's going to be some lake effect that begins to develop, likely impacting northwest Indiana. But then Thursday night and into Friday, we're going to see that lake effect shifting off toward northeast Illinois. And notice, we could actually have some heavier lake effect bands developing. So it's going to be something to watch going into your Friday. I think Friday, during a good chunk of the day, we could be dealing with areas of heavy lake effect snow across portions of northeast Illinois before that transitions back to northwest Indiana Friday night and into Saturday. For tonight, 2 degrees. We will have westerly winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. So not too gusty, but it's still enough to send those wind chills down to about 5 to 15 below. Your 7-day forecast, 16 degrees tomorrow. We're going to be partly cloudy on Wednesday. Thursday, same thing. We'll start to see lake effect developing in northwest Indy, and then that's going to move on over into northeast Illinois on Friday. So accumulation going to be possible. 15 degrees for your high on Friday. We're in the 20s this weekend, and then next week, we're close to 30. by Tuesday afternoon. We'll be right back.
You're starting to like it.